Welcome back to Alpha Mods, everybody. And for those of you who don't know, Alpha Mods is a channel primarily based on the Alfa Romeo Giulia and Stelvio, the modern version, and we basically tackle everything from maintenance to cosmetics to pretty much everything you can do DIY and performance here on this channel. And we are super excited today to announce that I am now running Italoecu ECU for my tune. So let's go ahead and dive into that, and we'll go get into those details. Alrighty guys, so let's talk about details and basically how I ended up here. I've been with Squadra for a while, as many of you guys know, and I've always promoted them, and I've always, loved their tune and their work, and I still do. Well, I was approached by basically Artem, a friend of mine who I've been communicating online with overseas now for a while now, and he threw around the idea of, I've got this new flasher, it's an OBD2 flasher, it's able to communicate with 3 different canvas systems, which is basically like a Y-Tech device. Beautiful. I'll show the thing here in a second. But he created this device with the intention of helping out the community and being able to update and flash and do things that only dealers would be able to do, including unlocking modules, guys. Like, wow. This is new territory when it comes to a device for this type of, or for this vehicle, as well as it can upload transmission tunes and full ECU tunes. So I'm going to put all of his information down below. If you guys need anything done module-wise or electronic-wise, I have one of these devices here in the US that I can lease out to you. So please hit me up if you guys need that, or if you want this tune, hit me up so that we can refer back to Artem so that we can get everything set up, or if you can pay directly to Italoecu ECU for this tune, that'd be cool. All right, guys, so here's the exciting part. Let's go over what this tune can really do as far as features. Because yes, having power is great, and 310 horsepower, 480 Newton meters of torque, that sounds great. But let's talk about, what essentially makes this tune different than just throwing on, a JB4 or something of that nature. So this tune, first of all, it has active cooling. So this is going to run your auxiliary water pump at a higher rate so that you can more efficiently cool your car, which equates to more power because, again, cooler temperatures, more timing, more power. So with that being said, that's the first feature. Now, the second feature of this is the annoying start-stop. That thing is gone. It's not good for the car. I've never thought it was good for the car, especially with the battery that comes with the factory. The Varta battery does not do too well with the start-stop system in this car. With that being said, a lot of people don't like it, so that's out. And I'm glad that the tune has the ability to disable it without a device. Secondly, no more top speed. VMAX is completely off. That's something that people really enjoy. Maybe not here in the US. We have, pretty strict speed limits, but if you're in Europe, you're taking this thing on the Autobahn, I guarantee you're going to be doing over 165 miles an hour. So that's pretty freaking sweet. We also have throttle mapping that's done in A mode, N mode, and then D mode. So depending on which one you are, the RPMs are going to rise. So for example, when I'm in D mode, it puts you right there at the precipice or the cusp where the turbo is about to start spooling up so you can just get that punchy power. No type of device needed to change or affect the throttle input or output. Very cool, guys. So with all that, I mean, this thing is essentially what I would have wanted in a tune, but with pops and bangs. And I think that everybody can appreciate just a little bit of pops and bangs. I know that it may not be everybody's forte, and that's totally okay. It's totally fine to not like that and have concern for your catalytic converters, and I understand that. But this tune does not force you to do the pops and bangs. It's only when you want to do it. Otherwise, you're driving around pretty much a stock car. It's a little bit different than some of the other competition that we've had here in the United States before in the past. I'm not going to mention the name of the company. But again, this car feels like you're driving an OEM car until you want to make the sound, until you want to make the noises, until you want to feel the power. And before we go on this drive, might as well show you guys a little bit of clips of blow-off valve, pops and bangs, all that good stuff. So enjoy. Alright guys, essentially found a dirt road. Let's hear how she sounds, all right? Super cool. All right, let's go ahead and get some pop and banging. Pretty cool, guys. All right, guys, so with any tune, essentially the most important thing is, how does it drive? How does it feel? This is what people want to know when they're buying a tune, when they're spending hard-earned money to get results. And I gotta say that this tune provides a ton of different features, which we'll go over, or we've gone over, but this thing seems so drivable and just so, I mean, it just reminds me of stock. And to have a car that drives like stock, and it feels, the power delivery feels very linear and, I mean, I would say, yeah, almost like OEM plus. It's really cool to see a tune that has this with pops and bangs on a very mild setting. It's not something that you're going out there and trying to do. Like, for example, you know, if I just accelerate just a little bit right here, like, it's not going to do the pops and bangs. You have to basically essentially input the car, up the throttle, and then let it go. And that's how you get the pops and bangs. But I know that that's going to be a big concern for a lot of different people. And I hear you guys out. You know, catalytic converters plus pops and bang tune equal bad normally. And that's, you know, essentially correct. But in this case, the pops and bangs are not happening by themselves. This is something that I have to intentionally try to do. So I'm not, you know, putting that wear and tear on the catalytic converter the same way that I've tried another tune, and I'm not going to name that tuner, but essentially everything felt forced. The pops and bangs were constant and it was loud, which is fine and everything if you want to have that. But this is going to be more for the, you know, the kind of guy that wants to toot around his neighborhood and not make a bunch of noise or a bunch of fuss, but still have the ability to, you know, put it into a essentially different mode and, you know, get some pops and bang results. And I'll just give you guys a little rev real quick just to show you. So it's getting in neutral. So we got a little bit of pops right there. But I had to make that happen. That was not something that would have happened on its own. So this tune is really cool for a lot of reasons. And for me, that's essentially a very, very big reason why I wanted to do this. So let's talk about some other things here. We have different throttle settings. So whenever we go into A mode or whatever, everything gets very eco-friendly, if you want to call it that. And essentially when you go into N mode, again, the throttle changes. As you can see, the RPMs go up. So when they go in A, they go down. When they go into D, they come up to about 2,000. So that's great for drivability. Seems very stock. Power level feels very stock at that N mode. And then when you go into D, now we're rising to above 2,000 RPMs, which is right where your boost is going to be at. And so essentially it keeps you in a position, you know, to where it's in an area where you're going to get that torque that you need to get moving, which I really like that. There are some downsides comparative to my previous tune. I do miss having the ability to switch power levels on the fly, but I don't, you know, it just feels so nice and smooth that I have really no complaints on, you know, the delivery. And as far as safety wise, I've looked at the data logs. I'm not seeing any AFRs out of range or out of whack or anything like that to indicate any kind of issues. So I'd say that this tune is pretty solid. Like, Italoecu, ECU, you guys did a great job at making a great tune. Has plenty of power. It's advertised at 310 PSI, which is somewhere around the 310-ish horsepower range. I'm sure that with 93 octane like I'm using now, I'm getting a little bit more out of it. Most tunes will advance timing. That's something that I might, you know, talk further on in a future video. But for right now, essentially, after driving for about 2.5 months, I got to say this has my seal of approval, and it's on the list of tunes that I recommend. Alrighty, guys. So we just came back now, and I gotta say, I mean, I really enjoy this thing, and you guys can hear in the video, and I'll throw in a little bit of clips and stuff like that. But the pause and bangs just makes it a little funner. You don't have to do it all the time. You get great power out of this thing. It gets good fuel economy. There's not really much downside at all to this tune. And you know, I've enjoyed the heck out of it for the last 2.5 months or so that I've had it. So I definitely highly recommend it. And the price point being 400 euros is a big boom, boom, boom for everybody. So but take advantage of that. Also, Alpha Mods is going to be having some new merch and different things available for purchase soon. There will be a website. It's coming. I know I've told you guys that it's coming, but I had a little bit of health issues that got in the way, and hopefully now we can move forward and I can continue on making these videos for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you guys enjoy this new avenue that we have now for a flash tune. So Alpha Mods out.